I'm Charlie Porter, and I'm making a video on adding, subtracting, and multiplying matrices. Okay, so adding first. When you're adding matrices, you add the numbers in the corresponding locations in the two matrices. So starting off, you'd add the 1 and the 5 because they're both in the first row and first column spot. So you get 6 for this spot. And going on, you get 9 from adding the 7 and the 2. 12 from adding the 9 and the 3, 11 from adding the 6 and the 5, 15 from adding the 8 and the 7, 11 from adding that, the 8 and the 3, 8 from adding the 6 and the 2, 4 from adding the 3 and the 1, and 6 from adding the 5 and the 1. And so this would be your answer right here. And just a warning, you can't add matrices that are different sizes. So they have to be the same size, like 3 by 3 has to be added together with another 3 by 3, or else it won't work. Now subtracting, it's basically the same as adding, where they have to be the same size, but you're just subtracting the two numbers. So 1 minus 2 would be -1. 5 minus 4 would be 1. 3 minus 4 would be -1. 2 minus 5 would be -3. 4 minus 6 would be -2. 6 minus 2 would be 4. 3 minus 1 would be 2. 7 minus 3 would be 4. And 8 minus 3 would be 5. And again, that's your final answer right there, is that matrix. Now moving on to multiplying. This one's a little more complicated. You start off by multiplying the first row of the first matrix with the first column of the second matrix. So you would do 2, this number right here, times 3, and then add that to 1 times 6. And that'd give you this spot. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 times 6, which is 6, equals 12. So you put 12 for this spot. And then you do that, the first row with the second column to get this next spot. So 2 times 2 would be 4. And then you add that to 1 times 4, which would be 4 also. And you add those together, and that equals 8. And now you move on to the second row. And so you'd multiply the first number of the second row by the first number of the first column in this. So 4 times 3. And you'd add that to 3 times 6. So 4 times 3 is 12. And 3 times 6 is 18, so that equals 30 when you add those two together. And then the last one, for the last spot, would be 4 times 2, and you add that to 3 times 4, and so 4 times 2 would be 8, and 3 times 4 is 12, so that equals 20. And then this would be your answer right here. And when you're multiplying matrices together, the two middle numbers, when you're comparing their sizes, need to be the same. So, like in this example, there's 2 3s in the middle part right here. So these two sizes would work to multiply together. And that's it. Now that I've showed you how to do these kinds of problems, I would like to give you some study tips. First, if you want to be a top-notch math student, you should put your phone away when you study, so that way you can be fully engaged in whatever you're studying. And a study tip is, if you don't understand a concept, you should go get help from the teacher. And a best use of class time is whenever there's free time, you should use it to get ahead on things like homework in that class. This has been Charlie Porter, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson on adding, subtracting, and multiplying matrices.